it later. And anyone's missing it, it's fine. So I'll talk about number 1 real quick. Let me pull on the pen. Number 1, slope is 7, y-intercept 4. Hopefully you know the equation of y equals mx plus b. You need to know that. I'm not telling you that. So that means y equals, the slope, remember, is your m. So that is, that is 7x plus 4.
Tobel,
Yes, what's up, Gabby?
I just realized I never submitted the homework. Can I submit it to you now?
Sure, but it won't show up on the progress report. So if you're missing too many homeworks, you might get like missing a homework assignment, and it'll be fixed for your report
It was the
card
one
later.
from Thursday.
What's up?
Okay, thank you. I'm
Oh,
gonna,
okay,
I'm gonna submit it now.
That's fine. So number 4, same situation. Actually, I'll go do number 5 is a little harder. Number 5 here, we need the y-intercept. I'll do number 5. The y-intercept and the slope. So I'm going to find the slope first. I can find the slope very easily by just counting up when I have a graph. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's a rise of 6. 1, 2, 3. A run of 3. 6 over 3 reduces down to 2. So 2 is my m here.
I did it differently because I did like the y2 minus y1, and then I found that.
And did you find 2?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's good then. Then it works out for us. So either way you find it, m is 2. I need to use one of the points. I'm just going to randomly choose 1 comma negative 3. You could choose any point for this. And I'm going to plug it into y equals mx plus
you
b.
could choose.
You plug in the other one too.
Like you could just choose whatever like point though you want, right?
As long as it's on the line, yeah. This don't make up a point, but you could choose either one.
No, I'm saying like I could choose like either like for number 7, like either -1, 0 or 0, -2.
Yes, yes.
All right, thank you.
All right. So here we have this. So -3 equals 2 times 1 equal plus b. 2 times 1 is 2. Minus 2 on both sides. So b is going to end up being -5. So in this case, it's going to be y equals 2x minus 5. I found my m, I found my b, and I just plug it in to make an equation. Yeah. For number, I'll take 11. No. Yeah, 11's fine. For number 11, we need to find the slope. Here, though, we only have 2 points. We can't just use it. So what we're going to do is plug in a y1 and a y2. So let me do that over here. I'm going to call this x1, y1, x2, y2. The equation is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. X2 is -3.
But Mr. Tobar, number 5, how do you get -5 equals b?
I did the algebra right here. Check it out.
But I know, but you wrote over there -2 minus 2. Is it supposed to be
-3 minus 2, Shank, is 5. -5. And like I said, please let me finish my question.
You actually -2 minus 2.
I got you. Jessie, you had a question though? I know you were raising your hand.
Yeah, I have to go somewhere right now. Is it okay if I go off the Zoom?
That's fine. I'll count your attendance and I'll post the recording later in Google Classroom if you need it to review. Okay?
Okay, thank you. Bye.
No problem. Bye-bye. So over here, we have -5 equals m. We have -5 equals m. So I found my m, which is good. Now I'm going to plug it into the equation up here with an x and y. Again, doesn't matter which one I choose. I'm going to choose the first one because I'm lazy. -13 equals 2 times -5 plus b. -5 and 2 got swapped into places, but because they're multiplied, it doesn't really matter. -10 plus b equals -13 plus 10 plus 10. -3 equals b. I have b, I have m. My final answer is y equals -5x minus 3.
Can I switch on to my phone?
That's fine. I'll let you back in. Just -3. Okay. And let me talk about a word problem. 13, 14, 15, I hope, actually, I'll just talk about that real quick. Number 14, you could rewrite the question as -4, comma 5 and 2, comma 2. What's inside the F is your X. What's outside the F is your Y. So you just rewrite as coordinate points and do the same thing as you did for 7 and 12. So number 16, there's two parts to it, and we need to identify what our Y and what our MX or our M is, our slope and our y-intercept. And in order to do that, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to, I got to scroll down. What we're going to have to do is figure out which one is a rate. So something that changes per. The slope is a rate. So usually it's something per something else, per hour, per dollar, per person, per phi, whatever it is. It's per something. And then your B is usually your starting point. So usually it's like just to deliver it, just to give it, just to enter, just to start, you have to pay this much. So looking at the word problem, it has a $30 delivery much and it's 23 per cubic yard. So it takes $30. It's like a fee. It's like your shipping fee for 30 bucks to deliver. So no matter how much mulch you buy, you have to pay that $30. So that would be your starting point. While 23 per cubic yard, that word per is a big key that tells you it's a rate. It's something that changes over something. So it's $23 per cubic yard. And to set up as an equation, y equals 23x, because 23 per x plus 30. It's a positive 30, so we do a plus 30. Y would represent our cost, while X would represent our rate. Okay,
Mr. School?
that's for 4.1. Any questions? I heard somebody say, go ahead.
That's it.
So there's like three things, like, and then it's A, B, and C. So when you identify the dependent and independent, what is X always the independent variable, and Y is always the dependent variable?
Yes.
But I think on the top of the sheet you just said just A.
Yeah, I just told you A, so BC is not necessary.
Oh, okay.
Okay. But just as a side fact, yes, X is always your independent, B is always your dependent. In terms of the question here, what's independent is the yards. So how many yards you buy, how much money you cost. So independent affects the dependent.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So on the test, is there going to be like 3 parts, or will it just kind of be like that one part?
You're talking about word problem?
Yeah.
Yeah, just have one part. Make the equation for this. And maybe I'll follow up the question. I could say, what happens when you use 5 yards? So you would plug in 5 for X and then solve that for Y. I could do a follow-up like that too.
Okay.
All right. 4.2 is kind of similar. Here, 1 through 6, actually 1 through 8, we're using the same concept as we did before, where I'll just use 1 in the case. So y equals mx plus b is my formula, and I know, well, that's what my formula is. So m equals 5. I have an x and a y, which is -1 and 6. I need to find b to make the equation. So this one, I'm going to make it -5 plus b equals 6 plus 5 on both sides. So I got 11 equals b. So my final equation, and you have to write it. Your question will say something like, write an equation. So it's up to you to actually write the equation of how it looks like, which is y equals 5x plus 11. You need to get to that final piece, okay? That'll be probably a ½ point off every time you don't do that. So make sure you do that. 7 and 9, we did that at 4.1, where you have to find the slope first and then find the equation. So I'm not going to spend too much time on that. What did I tell you? Go to 15. So these are all the same problems. It's just the same concept. We're going to find the slope. I will do number I see a decimal here, so let's do 11. I don't think I would give you a decimal, but it's good to practice with decimals anyway. So I need to find the slope. So I need to do x1, y1, x2, y2. So I got 17.4 minus -3 divided by 12 minus -5. So on the top, I have 20.4. On the bottom, this is going to be plus 17. That's an annoying fraction. Let's see. I don't think I can really simplify it.
You not give like those type of fraction tests.
Nah, I won't give these type of fractions on the test. But just to
Right, thank
continue
you.
to show you how to do it, if you had that fraction anyway, you would do -3 equals 20.4 over 17, which is your slope, times your x, which is -5, plus b. Do your math. This will be a -100 and 102 over 17 plus b. 102 divided by 4. This happens to be 6. -6 plus b equals -3 plus 3 plus 3, or plus 6, I'm sorry, plus 6. B equals +3. 102 over 17 reduces down to -6. And then your final equation would be y equals 20.4 over 17 times x, no need for the parentheses there, plus 3. Okay. But that's a decimal. I wouldn't probably give a decimal, but it's good to practice those things. That's going to be up for 7.2. Any particular questions for that? Kind of similar to 7.1, honestly. So let's go to the next one, 4.3. Now this is in point slope form. So when you see the instructions point slope form, if I ever ask you to do something in point slope form, you have to know that's going to be y1, or sorry, y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. So don't forget those. Okay. So with that in mind, let's do a problem from these. What's nice about this is we don't have to waste time finding b. We could just put the answer as is. So I'll pick number 5 as random. Number 5 here, you have a y1, which is right here. You have a particular y, you have a particular x, and you have an m. So it's super easy. All you have to do is plug it in. Y minus -7 equals -1/2 times x minus -4. But we don't really like double negatives. So I'm going to rewrite this as y plus 7 equals -1/2 x plus 4. I'm writing it in 2 levels just because I'm running out of space in between this gap here. But you don't have to do that. You make it one straight line. Either way, that would be your answer here. This is the equation in point slope form. Now, graphing point slope form, you're kind of doing the opposite this time.
Wait, don't you have to solve it?
Write the equation in point slope form. Now, because
So that is one.
that is point slope form. If I ask you, then change it into standard form, which we'll do in the next section, or slope intercept form, which is what we did in the previous section, then you will have to continue. But because I say point slope form, you stop right there, you're good.
So, but what does it say in the parentheses? Y equals -7 equals
It's
1
y
over half.
minus -7 equals -1/2 times x minus -4. -4. Okay. All right. So I'll choose 11 to do. We're going to graph this. So you're kind of doing the reverse here. we're got to get the coordinate points here. So this is your y1 and this is your x1. But remember, the equation has a minus sign in it. So when you take the y1 from here, it's not positive 1 actually. Your y there is -1. Same over here. You're taking out a positive 5 because it's x minus positive 5. So it's a positive 5. So make sure you get... Yeah. When you take your point coming from point slope form, since the original equation over here is y minus y1, if I see something like y plus 1, I have to recognize that same thing as saying y minus -1. So my y value is actually -1. Same thing over here. If it's x minus 5, that means this is a positive 5. In terms of the mathematics, all you have to know is to flip the sign. But those are the reasoning why you flip the sign. Yarn, what's up?
So basically, I like you just explained why it would be 5. So on my original thing, I had it where it was I had what's called, so like on my X I got 2 and not 5, because then like I checked the answers after and I couldn't understand why. So can you just
Well,
like
the number here is
explain
definitely
why it's-
5. I think you got confused. The slope is 2, not x. Is that possibly why?
Possible, because the thing is I got Y correct though.
Okay. Well, x and slope is nearby each other, so I can imagine you just made that mistake.
So when it's just a positive, when it's Y plus 1, I just have to change it to negative.
Yes.
So that changes the whole like thing.
That'll change your starting point. So when I graph this, I need a starting point and I need a direction. My starting point is this point right here, 5, -1. So I'm going to go on this graph 5 and then down 1. On your test, it'll be nice 10 by 10s, 1 space each. This is 2 space each, a little bit annoying, but not the worst.
So what about the other point?
So the other point you need to find is by using the slope here. Remember, slope is the same thing as rise over run.
Yeah, 2/1.
So I'm going to go from the red. I'm going to rise up 2. Keep in mind, this is a units by 2. So I'm going to go, this is at -1, 0, 1. So I went up 2 and then right 1. The spacing of the thing might be confusing, but on your test, you'll have a nice 10 by 10, 1 space each. You don't have to worry.
On the answers, so on the answers on the graph, it's just like really confusing for that one at least, because it shows like it intercepts with the y-axis at like -11.
That's fine. We are looking at, I'm looking at the answer right here. We just graphed this part here. Remember, you only need 2 points for a line, so you don't have to go all the way to the y-axis or the y-intercept.
I have a question.
So I just have to like do rise over run and then just like like I just have to first obviously with the 5 -1, then you have to do rise up 2 and then to the left one. Right one.
I have a
Mhm.
question. On the graph, it doesn't give you like it doesn't have like 5 as an option to like graph it. Like I can go -1, but I can't go up 5. So what am I supposed to do?
It's x is 5, so you go right 5. That's why you don't need to go up 5.
Oh, I messed up. Oh, okay.
Okay.
And then it's -1. Oh, okay.
And then down 1, yeah. Okay. Any other questions on this? And how far did I told you? I imagine I only told you 15 or something like that.
I'm kind of confused on this graphing.
Also
thing.
have 25 and 28.
25 and 28.
25 through 28. 25 through 20.
I'm kind
I'm
of
gonna do-
confused on this graph.
I mean, graphing, we did a lot last chapter, so I don't want to spend too much time talking about graphing. Maybe after the whole thing, I'm happy to go over a little bit more graphing, but I'm not going to spend too much time because we did a full chapter on graphing in the past.
It's like, how do you get that 0.5, -1 for number 11?
I talked about that. You could check the recording later. I talked about that twice already. All right. So this one, we need to write an equation that passes through the line given the points. So if we're doing slope point form, we need a slope and a point. We don't have a slope yet. So we're going to have to do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So then I'm just going to call this x1, y1, x2, y2. So it's going to be 2 minus 10 over 4 minus negative 3. I end up with a negative 8 over 7. That's fine though, because my m is just negative 8 over 7. Since I don't need to find b, I don't really care if it's an ugly fraction like that, because all I have to do is plug in a point now. You could choose either point. Y minus negative 3, or I'm sorry, y minus 10 equals negative 8 over 7. X minus, instead of minus negative 3, I'm going to write plus 3. I prefer to fix the positives when you can, when you have a double negative, write x plus 3 instead of x minus negative 3. Like finish it off as x plus 3. Sure?
Mr. Tolbo.
Yeah.
Are we supposed to put this in point slope form, or can we put it in y equals mx plus b?
You could, but
does
I
it say
think y equals mx plus b in this situation would be more work, because after you do this, then you have to solve for b. So sometimes, because this is the point slope form, point slope form sheet, I'm going to do the point slope form.
So like we can do it either way.
And the test will have instructions clearly. Make this into point slope form. Make this into standard form.
Okay.
Also, how much are you actually going to put on the test, like out of all this?
I can't guarantee at least one problem each, because that still would take quite a bit. So be prepared for every type of problem that I'm going over today, but it might not all be represented. Or let's say I could give you this 2-point one, and I might not give you the simple one, which is just slope and point and then plug it in. So I might give you the one that actually requires work. Any other questions on this 4.3?
No, I have questions on 4.5 though.
Wait, for the
I
graphic.
have questions on 4.4, like a lot.
Wait, on the
Okay.
graphic thing, are we just supposed to like do the same thing as before?
The
Or we have
graphing,
like
yeah. You have a
Okay.
starting point, except your starting point in this case is not y-intercept. It's going to be somewhere else. It's just some random point. So you need to know how to get the point from the equation, plug that point into the graph, and then use the slope. So it's really the same concept, except your starting point isn't always at the y-intercept. It's going to be somewhere in the space. I don't know where in the space, but somewhere there. For this one, I didn't tell you to do 1 through 6, right? I told you to do 7 to 18.
I have a question from the last one that you just did on 26.
Go ahead.
So can you choose like either point you want? Like, because I got y
Yes, you
minus
could choose
2.
either point you want. Either point works.
Because I did like y minus 2 equals negative 8 over 7, and then like negative 3 minus x.
X minus 3, you mean? Or x plus 3?
No, because I did like x was negative 3, so then I did negative 3 for the x.
No. It's going to be x, whatever your x value is. So it's going to be, if it was negative 3, x minus negative 3, which means it's x plus 3.
I don't get that.
You could use any number as long as you're consistent, though. So you have to use it from the same coordinate points. Control Alt Shift T. No, that's not right. Alt Tab. Here we go. So we're talking about 26, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah.
So you could do y minus 2 equals negative 8 over 7 x. This is a 4, so it's going to be minus 4.
Oh,
You can mix and match.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
Okay. Give me a sec. I try to figure out how to. There we go. All right. So I don't think there's no way I told you 1 through 6. So I think I told you 7 to 18. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So, okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to make this into standard form. Now, in order to make it standard form, the kind of like the tricky part is you actually need to know your point slope form before you can make it standard form. So knowing point slope form is like two sections you need to know it for. So I'm going to do I'll do number 10. So number 10 here, I got to make it to point slope form. We already did a lot of it, so I'm going to go quickly here. Y minus 8 equals negative 3, x plus 7, because double negative becomes a positive. Now, when you need to make it into standard form, you have to solve it so it becomes ax plus by equals c. I'm going to say the word standard form on your test, but you're not going to be given the equation. You need to know standard form is ax plus by equals c. So I have to solve it in a way where all my variables are one side, all my constants are in the other. So the steps are typically very similar. I'm going to distribute. So in here, I get negative 3x minus 21, y minus 8. I like to move my variables first, so I plus 3x. You can move 8 first if you want, or you can move something else if you want. So now I have 3x plus y minus 8 equals negative 21. Oh, that's a 12. 21. Then I do plus 8, 3x plus y equals negative 13. That moment, we're done. We're happy. We got that easy.
Would you mark it wrong if I wrote like the answer y plus 3x equals negative 13?
It's most right when it's a plus y. I would not mark that wrong though, but I would probably circle it and be like.
So we
fix
don't
it.
have to like we
But I
don't have to
wouldn't
like
take-
get x by itself also. Like we can just leave it as 3x plus y, or do you have to like put the 3
No.
on the other side?
No. The 3 and the x is a unit, so you don't really want to separate that. What you really care about is any person without variables is outside the club, so they got to go on the outside of the fence. Anyone with variables is cool; they can stay inside. But anyone without variables, take them out. All right. Any other questions on that? I'm going to go over to something between 12 and 18.
Wait, what lesson is this?
This is 4.4. Standard
Alright.
form. So number 13 to 18, we're going to do, let's see. Let me do number 16. Okay, make it in a standard form. Before I can make it in a standard form, I need point slope form. Before I could even make it to point slope form, I'm going to need a slope. So now I have to find the slope. Same process as we've done for about, I don't know how many chapters straight now. So x1, y1, x2, y2. So that's going to be negative 9 minus negative 8 over 5 minus 3. I end up with the result of plus 8. So this is 1 over 2 is my m.
Wait,
So
is standard form ax plus by equals c?
yes.
That's standard, right?
Yes. So I need to change it to point slope form. I'm going to pick one of these. It doesn't matter which one I pick. So I'll pick the first one. I don't really need a parenthesis for that. So y minus negative 8 is plus 8 equals 1/2 times x minus 3. Okay. Now we have to solve it for standard form. Distribute the half. Y plus 8 equals x over 2 minus 3 over 2. Plus x over 2 plus x over 2. By the way, I'm sure somebody's going to ask this. You could rewrite it as 1/2 x. You could just write it like that also. Bring it over. So x, I'll write it like that. 1 over 2x plus y plus 8 equals -3/2. You could rewrite that as 1.5. You could rewrite that as 1.5. I don't care how you rewrite this fraction. Minus 8 minus 8. You could change it to decimal if you want. I don't care. I'll change it to a decimal because I assume that's what most people are going to do. So I'm going to make that as -9.5, 1/2 x plus y. Standard form, typically you want whole numbers, like I'm sorry, like integers, yeah. So you might want to multiply everything by 2, but I didn't teach that actively, so you don't have to worry about that. So the answer in the book might be saying this: x plus 2y equals -19, because they multiply everything by 2 to make it a whole number. For us, I didn't talk about that. I didn't teach that, so you don't have to worry about that. What I box is where you could stop.
Wait, how'd you get -9.5?
3/2 is -1.5. Oh, I can't see it on the right page. -1.5 minus 8, bigger negative, 9.5.
Oh, okay.
We good here? Any questions?
This is pretty hard.
Yeah, it's tough. We just gotta practice it. Make sure we know our negatives.
Isn't this test like made to be taken in 24 minutes though?
Yeah,
Wait, Mr.
it's
Table,
approved
So it's
like
not
that.
that
Don't worry.
long.
Yeah.
on my calculator, it's telling me that it's like 6.5.
6.5. You didn't put -8, or you didn't put -3/2.
I did my 1.5 minus 8.
No, it's -1.5 minus 8. That will fix it for you.
Oh, now I got -9.5. Never mind.
Gotcha. All right. Okay. 4.5. We got parallel lines.
Oh, I got questions on this.
That's fine. So let me do a couple of problems and then we'll talk about them. So we got parallel lines. We got perpendicular lines. What did I ask you? 1 through 12 only? Yeah, definitely. Did I ask you for 15 too, or no? Did someone confirm with me?
You said 1 through 15.
Okay, so all right, I'll make sure to do each one. All right. So let's talk about the first set, 1 through 6. Give me an equation that is parallel. You need to know when you read that word parallel, that means the slope is the same. So because the slope is the same, that means that we're going to get the slope. I'm purposely going to pick a harder one, which is number 5. Okay. Number 5, they give you 8x plus 4y equals 5. Big issue here. The only thing I care about from the original equation, it's its slope. So I need to rewrite this thing. And notice how a lot of this chapter is rewriting the equations as y equals mx plus b. I need to solve for y. The reason is not even for y. I don't really care about y. I care about this guy right here, m. Only thing I care about from the original equation is the slope. So all I have to do everything in my power to find that slope from the original equation. I don't touch the point until I get that slope. Okay, so let's do it. So we're going to find that slope. So I'm going to subtract 8x on both sides to get y by itself. So 4y equals -8x plus 5. And I'm going to divide it by 4 on both sides. Remember, you have to divide 4 on everything. Y equals -2x plus 5 over 4. I don't really care about that b value because, like I said, the only thing you care about the original equation is its slope. Because it's parallel, that means the new slope is -2. It's going to be exactly the same. With that in mind, now I can use the point to make my equation. I'll do it in a slope-intercept form. So -8 equals -2 times 0 plus b. -2 times 0 disappears, so -8 equals b. My final answer is the equation of the line y equals -2x minus 8. So the tricky part here is that sometimes they don't give you the slope so easy, so you have to spend work to find the slope. Any questions on parallel? Okay, if not, let's go to perpendicular, some 7 through 12 stuff. All right, I'll do number 9 because I feel like I already went over the concept of finding the slope. So I'm going to take one where the slope is already there. So I need to find something that is perpendicular to it. So I got to look at the original equation over here. Y equals -1/5 x plus 1. I need the slope from this equation. Luckily for me, this equation is already pretty solid. It gives me the slope pretty easy. I can just pluck it out. But because of this word perpendicular, you need to do two things: reciprocal and switch the sign. Do not forget that. You need to reciprocate it and switch the sign. So instead of being 1/5, it's going to be 5/1. Instead of being negative, it's going to be positive. So your new slope is 5. You have to flip and switch. Flip and switch. Now I got the slope. I don't
But
give a
how-
damn
how
about this
come-
equation. Yeah, what's up, Yaron?
How come you don't like flip it to a because it was negative, but do you also have to flip it to positive, or you just have to flip it over to 5/1?
When I say flip, that's the reciprocal. So 1/5 becomes 5/1. When I say switch,
No, but it says
it's negative to a positive. If it was positive, it would go to negative, I think is your question.
is there any time where you just don't flip, like if it's positive or negative and only the reciprocal?
Not in these type of questions. No. When you see
All right.
perpendicular, it's both switch and flip. All right,
Mr. Tobel,
go ahead, Craig.
Mr. Tobel.
Yeah.
Can I go? Because class is technically over and I have to go do something.
Yes, if you guys want to go, that's fine. I'll still teach this as if it's lunch. It's still being recorded, so I can post this later for you guys. And if you want to save for lunch for
Okay,
questions,
thank
I can do that too. I apologize
Thank you.
for going over. Yeah, you're
Is
free
this
to go.
already-
Thank you.
What's up, Cheryl? Oh. Okay. So -7 equals, we have their new slope, 5 times 3 plus b. We got 15 plus b equals -7. Subtract 15 on both sides. -22 equals b. I got my b. I got my m. Time to put the final touches. Y equals 5x minus 22. Okay, any questions on perpendicular? Remember, when you see the
Like,
word
can I just like
perpendicular,
write that down?
yeah, go ahead. I'll do the last one on the paper over here. I'm going to do number 15. I'm going to assume it's the hardest one. I'll write it a little bit more organized. I want to write in one lane like this. But you're going to compare A, B, and C, and you're going to tell me, is A to B parallel or perpendicular, B to C parallel to perpendicular, and C to A parallel and perpendicular. So let's talk about each line. A is 6x plus 2y equals 5. B is y equals 1/3 x minus 4. And C is y equals -3 x plus 5. I'm just rewriting it. It's already written like that. Now, in order to check if things are parallel or perpendicular, what we need to do is check their slopes. So let me just point out the slopes here. I have a 1/3 slope here. I have a -3 slope here. Uh-oh, A, I don't know what the slope is. So I'm gonna have to rewrite A in order to find the slope. I'll do this up here. So I got 6x plus 2y equals 5. I gotta get y by itself. Minus 6x minus 6x. 2y equals -6x plus 5 divided by 2. Everything else divided by 2. Y is -3x plus 5/2. Again, I don't really care about the b. What I really care about is the slope. Everything I'm comparing to is the slope. So on your test, I probably would write it like this. What is the relationship between A and C? Well, or A and B. Let's start with A and B. I was B silly. So A and B. The A slope is -3. The B slope is positive 1/3. Is that a flip and switch situation? It is, because I flipped -3 to 1/3 and I switched -1/3 into a positive 1/3. So that is a flip and a switch. Because it's a flip and a switch, is perpendicular. Let's check A and C. A and C both have the slope of -3. Because they both have the slope of -3, they are exactly the same slope. So in that case, they are parallel.
I'm so confused about that.
Remember, parallel is same slope, so same. Perpendicular is flipped and switch, which in better words is reciprocal and negatived. I don't know if negative is the word, but it becomes a negative.
Wait, so does that say A and B is perpendicular and then A and C is parallel and then B and C is nothing?
B and C, let's compare B and C. This is a 1/3. This is a -3. Uh-oh, if you flipped 1/3, it becomes 3/1. If you switch 3/1 to a negative, it'll be -3. So in that case, it is a perpendicular. Now, very important, in this case, everything had a relationship, either parallel or perpendicular. That's not always the case. Sometimes it could be neither. For example, in number 13, A and B would be neither, because while it is reciprocal, it is not a negative. So it's a neither in that case.
I'm just confused on how you figure that out. Do you like not have to do anything, or you just have to observe the problems?
All you do is observe not even the whole problem, but just the slope. If the slopes are the same, parallel. If the
So
slopes,
immediately,
yeah.
So immediately I just like look at like let's say A and B, and then A and B, like I see it's not the same slope, so I wrote perpendicular, right?
Mhm.
So then like
You
B-
have to
and then I
find the
look at-
slope. You have to find the slope if it's possible. Then you check A and B. The slopes are the same, parallel. You stop right there. The slopes are not the same. Now I have to check is perpendicular. And in order to check that, you got to reciprocate it and then negative it. You could start from either one. It should result in the other. If it doesn't result
Okay,
in the
but
other,
how is A and C parallel?
A and C, what is the slope for A?
Can I leave?
6.
Yeah, you're free to go. You guys are free to go. I can't hold you beyond that. If you want to say, that's fine though. Go
I have
ahead.
a question.
Hold up. Yarn, A and C have the same slope. So at that moment, you know they're parallel. Okay. Kira, what's
Wait,
up?
is that wait, how's that the same? Because it's 6 and -3.
It's a -3 right here, and it's -3 right here. You have to find the slope.
So what, I have to like isolate Y?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Kira, I'm sorry. Go ahead. What's your question?
Can I
Is there
go
any-
now?
Is there ever gonna be a time where there's like no
No relation?
perpendicular.
Yeah, it could be neither.
so you just write neither?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Tobel.
No problem. If anyone has any particular questions, I'm
Thank
happy to stay on.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you.
Hey, no problem. I wanted to go over, I think someone had a request, 4.1, number 14. So let me do that. Number 14 over here. Oh, I mentioned it earlier. You just have to change this to -4, 5, and then 2, 2. Then you're gonna have to find the slope from that case. This is x1, y1, x2, y2. So it's going to be 2 minus 5 over 2 minus -4. So on the top is -3. On the bottom is a +6. Reduces to 1/2. So I need this in slope-intercept form. I have m equals -1/2. I'm going to plug in either one of these points. I'll pick this one because they're both even. So 2 equals -1/2 times 2 plus b. -1 plus b equals 2 plus 1 plus 1, 3 equals b. So your final answer for that one is y equals -1/2 x plus 3. Okay. If you have any questions, please send an email. I'll try to make a video of it if you need it. Otherwise, have a wonderful day, guys. Good luck on your tests. I know you'll do well. Don't sweat it.